Member representing Ikorodu Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, Honorable Babajimi Benson, has attributed the ongoing nationwide protests against bad governance to a lack of effective communication of the activities and policies of the present government to the Nigerian people, especially the youths. Now, speaking with a group of journalists, the federal lawmakers said, while the right to protest is constitutionally guaranteed, doing so in an atmosphere of violence will not yield any positive result, and he appealed to the people to exercise patience and wait for the policies of the government to yield dividends. He said the Tinubu government has done a lot in the last 1 year, worth commending, and laid a foundation for a new Nigeria. But he regretted that the gains of the government are lost on the Nigerian people because of lack of communication. In his words, and I quote, "What is happening in Nigeria is that people are hungry. People want their welfare and security to be improved. And whatever it takes to achieve that would mean spending money. But Rome was not built in a day." I think the critical issue we have in Nigeria is a perspective issue because people see things differently. The problem we have right now is a communication issue. You know, we talked about the professor that has also told us about his healthcare revolution, Minister of Health, and what he has been able to do in 1 year. And Nigerians don't even know all of this because there is no communication, or there is a communication gap. If everything the government does is communicated to the grassroots, then we will not have the problem that we have right now. If you go to the US today, in his words, I'm still quoting him, they don't know their governors, they know their local government chairman. But in Nigeria, everybody looks up to the president. If the road in your street is bad, it's the president. Now he has released money directly to the local government chairman with local government autonomy, right? You're aware of that. So let's see how that plays out. That's what he's saying. We must have a conversation to let the people know who to hold responsible. With all that, we need to address issues in the right quarters. There is a new minimum wage coming to being. That's something he's commending about this government, and that is also saying will not be enough, but it is a step in the right direction. So let's look at this now. Is this? I see you nodding. Is it beginning to change your mind? Are you beginning to see that the government has done a lot in 1 year? According to his statement.
Thank God the honorable member talked about issue of perception. Like I said, perception is a critical issue when it comes to analysis of this nature. While you were just going through the review, I was internally agitated.
Why?
I'm telling you, you see a honorable member talking about communication gap. Talking about issue of communication, lack of communication. Who should be held responsible? Should I be held responsible for the government not being able to communicate effectively the policies of the government? Should the masses be held responsible? You see, at times when our leaders talk, I don't understand. They feel probably the people they are leading, the people they are representing are not analytical. They don't reason. They don't digest their statement. They just talk. Why will a honorable member come on air to talk about communication gap, that is the major problem the current government is having? You see, that takes us back to the issue we talked about before. Not having probably those qualified, the right persons, or those that are passionate to chair or champion a particular cause. I know we have ministers that has to do with information and communication. I know we have commissioners that has to do with information and communication. And I know it is the sole responsibility of the government, the appointee, right? Because those are appointed offices. It is the responsibility of the government, the appointee, to now look at the person that is supposed to probably handle that particular section that is not doing well, and then call the person to order, or you caution the person.
Right.
So issue of communication gap shouldn't be the problem, shouldn't come into play at all.
Before we delve too deep into the whole communication, who should communicate or not, do you see this as damage control statement?
Sure, I do. Because the statement is also indicting. I think even the person in charge of communication and information, the Honorable Minister, needs to also respond to Nigerians why there has, because for me, I know that the government has been communicating. It is either you're communicating positively or you're communicating negatively. It's either your communication is generating, positive response, because in communication we have both, it's a dual process, right? You should know better. Once you communicate, there should be feedback.
Receiver, yes,
right, good. So what Nigerian government and what Nigerians are experiencing is a direct effect of the communication gotten from the government. So there is nothing like communication gap.
Let's look at the removal of fuel subsidy. Come on, it was communicated. Let's also look at the change of the anthem. Oh, double communicate. Who did not hear that the anthem, we've gone back to the previous anthem and all of that. The communication was so swift. I mean, we got the memo so fast. So I'm wondering why it's big projects that are being carried out that all of a sudden we're not getting the information. So that was why I asked you earlier if you see it as maybe a statement to, get to change our minds and help the people really understand that, look, the government is actually doing so much. Look at all of these projects that have been mentioned.
If the government is doing so much, my dear, the media community will be aware. You and I will be aware. What this current government has done, Nigerians are aware. The issue of fuel subsidy, didn't Nigeria hear about it? Change of national anthem, didn't we hear about it? Issue of rice palliative, didn't we hear about it? Were those things not national issues? So what has the government now done that Nigerians have not heard? Okay, let's rest it there. They should communicate.
We also heard about the student loan. At least that's one.
Yes.
A lot of Nigerians commended the government, even though some people still felt like, how do you give loans to people who do not have jobs? Now, when they come out, what's the guarantee they'll get a job to pay you back? But let's look at this next story now.